So Shield of Achilles, don't change the slide. The Shield of Achilles by W.H. Auden. It was written in 1952, right?
Yes.
Okay. It will be a quick revision for 20 minutes maybe. What is shield? Change the slide please. What is shield? This thing. Another?
Shield.
Go to next slide. Okay, so this thing, right? So this is your shield. And who is Achilles? You took notes. Son of Thetis, okay. But who is Achilles? Greatest of all Greek warriors. And I said he is the central character of Homer's Iliad, okay. And he is the person who was a great hero of Trojan War, okay. And who is Thetis? Achilles' mother. And what about Hephaestus?
Fire, flag, and blacksmith.
Okay, so Thetis asked Hephaestus to make a shield for the sun. Okay, it will be full of greenery, full of spores and all that, and we will see the real scenario. She looked over his shoulder. Who is she? Who is his? Change the slide, please. Thetis. She looked over his shoulder. She looked over his shoulder means she looked for the shield. Okay. Okay. For vines and olive trees. What does olive tree signify? Greeneries or peace? Peace. And vines? Greeneries. Okay. Creepers. Marble well-governed cities is indicating the civilization. Okay. She is looking for some greenery and some marbled civilization, well buildings. And well governed means a city which is what? Under control, in peace. Okay. Okay. And ships upon untamed seas. There will be sea and there will be ships, merchant ships or navy. Okay. It's another sign of good civilization. But there on the shining metal. Shining metal means that shield. His hands had put instead an artificial wilderness. What is the meaning of wilderness? The place is burnt. It's grey. It's grey. Warfield, you can say. It's something like that. It's there is no sign of life and peace. Okay. It's and the sky like lead. It's gray sky. Maybe because of the destruction, bombing. Okay. A plain without a feature. Plain means field. It's a field which does not have any feature. What is the features of a field? Flowers, greeneries, children playing, people having some chit chats. Okay. So this field is not of that feature. Bare and brown. It's bare and brown means it's not green. It has no grass, no blade of grass, no sign of neighborhood. You know, from fields we see the civilizations, the surrounding cities, but that's missing here. Nothing to eat and nowhere to sit down. There is nothing to chill. Okay. Yet congregated on its blankness. Okay. So there is no, get together of flowers, birds, people, but here something has got together, and that's your blankness. Okay. Full of blankness stood an unintelligible multitude, a group of people about whom we don't know. We don't know the people, mysterious people. A million eyes, a million boats in line. So they are in a column, they are standing in different columns. They are getting ready for something. They are a million eyes and a million boots, which means 10 million eyes, 10 lakh eyes and 10 lakh boots, which means 5 lakh people. Okay, without expression, waiting for a sign. They don't have any expression in their mind. They are not happy, they are not sad. Okay, they are not gloomy, they are nothing, they are not having any expression, they are lifeless kind of. They are waiting for a sign for starting the war maybe, or ending the war, or fighting. Okay, it can be anything. They are just waiting for a change. Out of the year, a voice without a face. 5 lakh people is standing there, and one person is talking. So it's very obvious that we can't see him or her. Out of the year, a voice without a face, proved by statistics that some cause was just. So these people are waiting for something, and they're, no matter what they are waiting for, that's just, that's logical. Okay, this voice is saying, in tones as dry and level as the place. So the place is dry, the place is leveled, like it's plain, no river, no mountains, no ups and downs. And this voice is same. It's a plain voice. It's talking in the plain. You know, when you are having any expression, any feelings while speaking, you will have some pitches in your speaking. Like you are excited, your pitch will be up. When you're sad, your pitch will be down. But there is no pitches. It's plain voice. No one was cheered and nothing was discussed. Whatever command is coming, no one is cheered, no one is happy. No one is sad either, and nothing is being discussed. Column by column in a cloud of dust, they started to walk. And when they will walk in that grassless field, then there will be dust because of the beating of boots. Okay? They marched away enduring a belief. They are having a belief in their heart whose logic brought them somewhere else to grief. Like whatever the reason of war is, it's a reason of grief, right? It's a sad thing. Like you are fighting, you are dying, you are being injured. That's the reason of your grief. Another reason can be the reason itself why you are fighting. You are fighting for something, for some sadness, for some, mismanagements. That's also another grief. She looked over his shoulder. She again tried to look for something, for ritual pieties, like some religious events she is looking for in this very shining metal. White flower garlanded heifers, like there will be a cow which is having a white flower, mala or something like that, which is ready for libation and sacrifice. Libation means to bath the thing with something, maybe with wine. And sacrifice?
I'm devoting myself for one.
But here a cow is being sacrificed, which means jobai korbe. Okay. But there on the shining metal where the altar should have been, there should be an altar, a platform where sacrifice will take place. But instead, there is no altar. She saw by his flickering torchlight, when you are moving that shining metal, then it will be, light and dark. Okay. Yes. Quite another scene. There was no altar, but there was another scene. Instead of altar, there was stage. Okay. We will see that stage. Barbed wire enclosed an arbitrary spot. It's the spot which can be, Hitler's concentration camp or something where prisoners will be punished. Okay. So it was supposed to be altar where sacrifices will be done, religious stuffs. But instead here, what is happening? Execution of war prisoners. Barbed wire enclosed an arbitrary spot where board officials launched. The officials who are tired of the war, they are having some chill here. One cracked a joke. Okay, they are having some fun. So which party is this? Like,
After winning war.
but what kind of party is having cracking a joke? The winners, obviously. The losers are at the hand of the winners. And centuries waited for the day was hot. It was a hot day. A crowd of ordinary decent folk watched from without and neither moved nor spoke. A group of people is watching them. They have surrounded the place, the stage. Okay? And they are watching them without any speaking or any movement. They are not moving, they are not speaking, they are just watching, they are waiting for something. as three pale figures were led forth and bound to three posts driven upright to the ground. Okay, it's a that kind of structure where people are placed. Okay, do you know that? Okay, so here three people are brought and they are executed here. Okay, crucified. And what are those three people I mentioned? When Jesus Christ was crucified, along with him there were two other people who was crucified. So maybe the indication of those three people. The mass and majesty of this world, all that carries weight and always weigh the same. So the wealth and position all are at the hand of whom? The others, the winners. Okay, lay in the hands of others. They were small and they were small. Who are these they? The war prisoners. They are small because they are captivated. They were small and could not hope for help, and no help came. They did not expect that someone will come and help them not to be executed. But they did not expect that because they knew that there is no way back. I have to be punished. What their foes liked to do was done. Their shame was all that worst could wish. So they are the war heroes. They are the war heroes. Okay, so they are captivated. The moment they are captivated, this is the worst thing that they could ever imagine. Okay, they lost their pride and died as men before their bodies died. The moment they were captivated, their pride actually died. Okay, she looked over his shoulder for athletes at their games. We know that the people of Greece, they are sporty people. They love sports. So Thetis is looking for something like that, a sporty situation. Okay, a game. Man and woman in dance, moving their sweet limbs, quick to music. So man and woman are dancing. Maybe they are celebrating a war, winning. They have won and they are celebrating that maybe. So she is looking for something like that. But there on the shining shield, his hands had set no dancing floor. But Hephaestus has put no dancing floor, let alone the dancing situations. But wheat choked field. What is the meaning of wheat choked field? Maybe barren. No one is there to cultivate that and take care of that. A rugged urchin. Rugged means exactly an urchin, lad. Okay, a boy of 12 to 18 years maybe. A boy with torn dress, aimless and alone. He doesn't have any aim. And he is alone. Maybe he doesn't have any school or anything. Maybe the country is destroyed by war, so there is no school, no family. Loitered about that vacancy. That boy is roaming around that vacant place. A bird flew up to safety from his well-aimed stone. He took a stone and threw it to the bird, and the bird somehow managed to escape that. That girls are raped. That two boys knife a third. It was very go to the next line, where exhumes to him. Exhumes is a situation where you took something for granted, like this will happen, that's quite natural. So he is living in a world where girls are raped. It's natural, it happens. Okay, and two boys knives the third, which means there is no proper governmentship maybe. Okay, no law. So that's why this kind of chaoses are there in the society. Who had never heard of any world where promises were kept? That boy, that very boy, or the people of that time have never heard of a society where promises were kept, or one could weep because another wept, and no one cried for other people. Like, what is the feature of society? That we will cry for our neighborhood. Like someone died in our neighborhood, we feel bad for them. Something bad happened, we feel bad for them, we try to do something. But that boy has never seen that. That boy has seen a selfish world where everyone thinks about himself. The thin-lipped armorer. Who is armorer here? What's the meaning of armorer? The person who made the armor, Hephaestus maybe? Okay, so the thin-lipped armor, Hephaestus, hopped away. He was, খোড়া, like পায়ে হচ্ছে ওর ছিল, সমস্যা ছিল, হ্যাঁ? So আসলো. Thetis is surprised after seeing that shield in that situation. Thetis of the shining breast cried out in dismay. She was so much depressed that she cried, she shouted at what the god had wrought. Whatever Hephaestus has made her what? Sad. To please her son, the shield was for her son, and she is surprised that what Hephaestus has done to that shield. Okay. The strong, the iron-hearted, and man-slaying Achilles. He is talking about which son? Achilles, who is strong, who is iron-hearted when it's in warfield, and also man-slaying. Like he has killed many people, many great heroes with his own hand, who would not live long. What's the meaning of would not live long? That's a reference from Iliad, where Thetis chose this life. Like she had two options. One is you can choose a long life for your son, which will not be that much famous. And what was the other option? Short life but full of fame. He chose that. That's why it's mentioned that who would not live long. ওকে, সো এটা যেহেতু আগের দিন পড়ানো হয়েছিল, আমি এত ডিসকাস করি নাই, জাস্ট একটু রিভাইজ করে দিলাম। কবিতাটা অনেক ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট। আমরা যে কয়টা কবিতা পড়বো, এর মধ্যে হচ্ছে এটা সব থেকে ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট, ঠিক আছে? এটা আপনার একটু বেশি মনোযোগ দিয়ে পড়বেন, দ্যাটস ওয়াই আমি এটা হচ্ছে আপনাদেরকে আরেকবার রিভাইজ করাই দিলাম। সো লেটস কাম টু সাম ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট কোয়েশ্চেন্স। রাইট ডাউন দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন্স। First of all, I don't like to throw questions in the exam hall. I will give you a situation which you have to explain. Okay? So first question is the shield shows the binary of peace and conflict. Peace and conflict. Double inverted comma. Okay, it's inside a inverted comma. Explain. You have to explain this line. I have given you an opinion and you have to just explain that. So what is binary?
0, 1, on, off.
But what is binary here in that question? What does binary mean?
Peace and conflict. Compare and contrast.
Compare and contrast, especially contrast is opposite. Okay, so she is it's not from any line, that's my opinion and you have to explain that. Okay, so in the shield she was looking for some greenery, instead she saw some what? Brown field, gray skies, like war field. There is no sign of life. Green is a sign of life. Okay, and you can see that she was looking for a scene where rituals are taking place, but instead she saw a situation, a stage where war prisoners are executed. It's opposite, right? And she was expecting for some what was the last paragraph? Sorry, last stanza. She was looking for sports and some dancing and celebrations, but instead she saw that a place which was cruel. Okay, it was cruel. It was not sympathetic, like people are not feeling sympathy, everyone is selfish and people are missing actually here. Okay, maybe it's a war distracted place. So she has seen the opposite scene in the shield. So the shield shows the binary of peace and conflict in the poem. Next question, the shield represents The shield represents 20th century civilization.
18th century.
20th century civilization. In which all aspects of life are shown.
All aspects.
All aspects of life are shown. Warfield দেখানো হচ্ছে, দেন সিভিলাইজেশন দেখানো হচ্ছে, একটা সিটি দেখানো হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে, দেন রিচুয়ালস দেখানো হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে। দ্য শিল্ড রিপ্রেজেন্টস a 20th century civilization in which all aspects of life are shown. Elaborate. Elaborate, explain, একই কথা, just explain করে লিখবেন।
Aspects of life are shown.
Are shown. Okay, done?
Yes, ma'am.
How important is audience use? How important is audience use of myth? Auden. W.H. Auden has written that poem. Okay? Auden's use of myth in the Shield of Achilles. Yes. How important is Auden's? The writer is W.H. Auden. A-U-D-E-N apostrophe S. Auden's use of myth. He has used myth, right? Achilles, Thetis, Hephaestus, all these are part of myths in the Shield of Achilles. So do you find any relevance? That's the question. Okay, why they have used that? Okay. Next question. Identify and explain. Identify and explain the literary devices used in the Shield of Achilles. You will get different literary devices here. Identify and explain the literary devices used in the Shield of Achilles. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
How does the Shield of Achilles, whenever you are writing Shield of Achilles, give inverted comma. Okay, it's a poem, short poem. How does the Shield of Achilles contrast the ancient and the modern? The thing Thetis was looking for is full of civilization, full of, good things.
Contrast between
Modern and the ancient. But the modern world is full of destruction. People are restless. The places are barren. Okay, done? How does the Shield of Achilles contrast the ancient and the modern? The ancient and the modern. Next question. How does Auden contrast? How does Auden contrast reality and expectation?
contrast
Reality and expectation in the Shield of Achilles. How does Auden contrast reality and expectation in the Shield of Achilles? Done? Okay. Next question. What are the thematic implications? This is the last question. What are the thematic implications implications of the shield of Achilles?
Implications.
Of the shield of Achilles. Done? What are the thematic implications of the shield of Achilles? That's all for broad questions. As for short questions or explanations, all the lines are important, especially the line which is who had never heard of any world, okay, where promises were kept and one could weep because another wept. That line is the most important line, but the rest of the lines, all the lines are important. It's in the last page. Last page, first paragraph, last 3 lines. Recording টা off করে দাও।